What is up, everybody? You are checking out the Uncensored Crossing podcast, and today you are listening to our Something to Wrestle with recap series. And today we are giving you a recap of Bruce Pritchard's conversation with Conrad Thompson about the Lex Express. This not only focuses on the Lex Express, but also Lex Luger. So let's dive right into the conversation. When Lex Luger came to WWE, he was a co host for the WBF show because Lex Luger was still under contract with WCW. Lex got into a motorcycle accident, and JJ Dillon said that Lex is the first example of potential not realized. When Lex came, he got heat because wrestlers assumed he came over and got paid big money. WBF guys were getting paid more, but it wasn't like every guy from WCW that came over was getting paid more. Lex had reconstructive surgery on his forearm, and Lex had a narcissistic personality and vibe. He came in as a heel and he worked with Mr. Perfect. Lex stares at himself in the mirror a lot, and Kurt Hennig would pull off one tassel off of Lex's trunk every match, and it drove Lex crazy. The reaction from everyone was lukewarm to Lex Luger at first. He wasn't a great in-ring performer. Lex then fights Mr. Perfect at WrestleMania 9. The goal for WrestleMania 9 was Hulk Hogan versus Yokozuna for a European tour. Vince made the call. Bret was supposed to drop the title to Yoko, but Bret found out that week that Hulk Hogan would be champion. In 1993, the business was flat. Hulk Hogan and Bruce Beefcake were on jet skis, and the jet hit Hulk Hogan in the eye, causing his black eye during WrestleMania 9. Yoko becomes champion at King of the Ring, and Lex Luger was going to be the new babyface. On July 4th, on the USS Intrepid in New York, the Body Slam challenge for Yokozuna was placed. All athletes try to Body Slam Yokozuna. They can't slam him, but Lex Luger definitely can. He comes down off a helicopter. Hulk Hogan left after King of the Ring to do acting, and Lex is going to be the next The Guy. On the Intrepid, it was 107 degrees on deck. The ring was on the deck all day, and Yoko's feet were really, really hot. Bob Collins came up with the idea of the Lex Express, which was a big um, tour bus where Lex Luger was supposed to be in. In 1992, George H.W. Bush did a train tour around the USA. The plan was for the Lex Express was that Lex would be on the bus during off days. He would be stopping and meeting with people in different cities. There's a camera crew by the second day. Lex didn't want to be on the bus. He wanted to fly and stay in hotels. He didn't enjoy hanging around the fans. He wanted to be alone. Undertaker and Paul Bearer did something similar like this tour in a pretend hearse, but they did a lot better than Lex Luger. Lex was unwilling to go all in. At SummerSlam 1993, Lex Luger fought Yokozuna. Lex won by countout with no belt win. Fans were all into Lex Luger. Vince thought about the SummerSlam decision a lot and decided to go with a countout victory. The Royal Rumble 1994, Bret Hart and Lex Luger both win. The Undertaker's dog ate the lining of his jacket, which had a USA flag on it. And there was only one time you saw him with that. Bruce feels like the title doesn't mean anything. It's more about who are you coming to see. The Undertaker, Andre the Giant, those guys, they didn't need the title because they were an attraction. At WrestleMania 10, they didn't make plans until the weekend of WrestleMania. They weren't nervous about not having Hulk Hogan. 10 years in the 10 years for WrestleMania. It was at Madison Square Garden. It was a huge deal. Bruce's favorite match was Bret versus Owen. He liked it better than Shawn Michaels versus Razor, but he believes that ladder match was the best ladder match of all time. Lex Luger then shows up on Nitro in 1995, and Bruce was planning shooting raw video on the Stanford headquarters. Vince asked Bruce for why Lex Luger wasn't on the list to premiere because Bruce didn't want him there, but Vince wanted Lex there for that. Lex is complaining about his contract. Bruce added Lex to the list because he was asked to. Bruce is in Hong Kong when he happens. He hears a voicemail from Pat Patterson saying Lex Luger showed up on Nitro. Patterson said he's their problem now. And that pretty much wraps up their discussion on Lex Luger. They pretty much say that, like, although he, drew a bit with the fans, he was hard to deal with. He was a great guy, but he was a narcissist. He thought himself, and he really didn't achieve prominence as much as he would in WCW and other places. But definitely the Lex Express was a time in the mid 90s. I was born in the year 1993 when it happened, and it definitely is nostalgia for everybody. But that is it. Let me know, were you a fan of Lex Luger, and were you a big fan of the Lex Express? Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe and stay uncensored.